as the 2016 Mexican Grand Prix is underway. Going to dive it up the inside of Kimi Raikkonen, leaving some space, but I've been spun around actually. And it looks like there's Fernando Alonso and Lewis Hamilton who have spun off there, and the safety car has been deployed. And Marcus Ericsson is going to restart the Mexican Grand Prix. So coming around the last corner, we got 3, 4, 5 Ferrari engine runners, both Saubers, both Haas and Sebastian Vettel. This was a brilliant opportunity for him to massively close up in the Drivers' Championship, and he's thrown it away. Here's the battle for the lead. There's Jenson Button in second, just exiting the stadium section, and there is Valtteri Bottas in the lead. He wasn't doing as well as his teammate, it pains me to say, and now he's got an engine failure. I didn't think I'd say this, especially as I'm on the mediums and both of those guys are on the soft tyres. They're actually both coming under threat from me, and amazingly, I'm up into second place. It's a Williams 1-2. I wasn't realistically expecting to beat Hamilton, but what I've done is I've taken Hamilton well outside of DRS range, which means Bottas is safe. Nobody could contend with Valtteri Bottas, as he's going to win the Mexican Grand Prix.
This is Formula One.
Right then guys, it's PSL here, and I'm here for part 19 in my F1 2016 Williams career mode, where we're here for the Brazilian Grand Prix. And heading into this Grand Prix, Manor have upgraded both their downforce and engine power, which they may as well, considering they won't be around in 2017. But Manor, they're not doing too badly at the end with 2 Grand Prix left to go. They've got a quicker car than both Haas and Renault. But anyway, let's turn our attention to the Drivers' Championship, because theoretically that can be wrapped up at this Grand Prix, as well as a Constructors' Championship, but that's been a foregone conclusion for a long time really. So at the end of the previous Grand Prix, the Mexican Grand Prix, I ended that 30 points ahead of Lewis Hamilton in the championship and 36 ahead of Nico Rosberg. Now that means that I can, theoretically, win the championship this Grand Prix. So for that to happen, it's down to these potential outcomes. So if I win the Grand Prix, I've won the championship, simple as. Also, if I beat both Lewis Hamilton and Nico Rosberg, if I beat them, then I've won the championship. So you can boil it down to that simple idea really. If I get a podium finish, so second or third, Hamilton has to win the race to still be within a chance of competing for the championship in Abu Dhabi, and Rosberg is out. So if I finish first, second or third, Rosberg cannot win the championship. And if I get anywhere between 4th and 6th, Hamilton must get a podium finish to still be in with a shot, and Rosberg has to win. So that's it. I haven't worked out below 6th because it's an unlikely scenario that I finish below 6th. I don't think that's really happened at any Grand Prix this season, apart from, oh god, going off the top of my head, Australia and Monaco. But anyway, let's head into the qualifying report for the Brazilian Grand Prix. The second to last qualifying session of the year saw both Renaults on the back row, just behind Rio Haryanto, both Haas drivers and Daniel Kvyat. The second session saw the other Manor and Toro Rosso eliminated, as they will make up the 8th row for tomorrow's Grand Prix. They will then follow both Saubers and then both Force Indias, who also left qualifying prematurely. So that means that the top 10 will be kicked off by 2 British drivers, namely Jenson Button and championship contender Lewis Hamilton. Then it's Vettel and championship leader Quinn on the 4th row, and Ricciardo and Alonso on the 3rd row. Both Finnish drivers narrowly missed out on a front row start, as Max Verstappen took 2nd place, whilst Nico Rosberg, who needs to win the Grand Prix to stand a chance at still winning this year's championship, has given himself the best possible opportunity to do that, as he will start the Brazilian Grand Prix from pole position. Right then, so here we are on the race strategy screen, and of course the Brazilian Grand Prix isn't going to be simple. It's due to rain for 1/6 of the Grand Prix and then not so for the remaining 5/6. So this could play to the advantage of anyone, really, because it's all about judging the changeover from intermediate tyres to dry tyres. So, I mean, Rosberg is on pole position. He could completely destroy his race just by messing up the changeover. Hamilton's in 9th, he could gain a lot. What about people outside of the points places at the moment? What about myself, Bottas, Ricciardo, anyone, really? I mean, this race is up for grabs. Bottas, he's on the second row. Hopefully he can get in the way of Nico Rosberg for the championship. I mean, that would be nice of him to do. But anyway, the 2016 Brazilian Grand Prix is underway, and we got Max Verstappen. It looks like he's got to a better start compared to Nico Rosberg, but heading in towards the first corner. Valtteri Bottas might actually make a move on both Nico Rosberg and Max Verstappen. Rosberg, he's out right to the right hand side. He's actually dropped to 3rd place. Meanwhile, I got off to a pretty decent start, getting past one Ferrari of Sebastian Vettel, but Ricciardo is going to re-overtake me, so that means I'm back into 6th place for the time being. I passed Fernando Alonso. His start was by no means fantastic, but let's take a look at the race start. So Max Verstappen, the Rain Master, I mean, at least that's the reputation he has been gaining, and to be honest, well, this is going to further add to that, because brilliant start there. Bottas also didn't get off too badly, but Max Verstappen from 2nd was able to take the Grand Prix lead. Still a bit of confusion, well, not confusion, but still a bit of battling over 2nd place between Bottas and Rosberg. But at the moment, Max Verstappen's leading the Grand Prix, which is pretty good, and also the fact that we're still only on the first lap, and Max Verstappen, he may well have taken the lead. He's not going all that quickly, and Ricciardo just moves out of the way. He does not want to get involved in this potentially championship influencing battle. I mean, who knows? I mean, at the moment I'm in 5th place, Raikkonen in 4th, and just the AI, much like in F1 2015, are extremely slow around Sector 2 of Brazil. I mean, even Nico Rosberg, we're coming up towards the last real corner, and we so nearly passed Nico Rosberg for 3rd place. At the moment, I'm in 4th. Rosberg needs to win the Grand Prix to still be in with a shot. Hamilton's out of it at the moment. I'm not going to focus too much on the championship battle at the moment, because of course anything can happen, including Valtteri Bottas, who has got slipstream on Max Verstappen. No DRS, of course, in wet conditions, and Valtteri Bottas using the much greater straight line speed of the Williams to get past Max Verstappen, and there you go. And in fact, actually, Verstappen forced out onto slightly less favourable tarmac, means he held up Rosberg. I went to the right hand side, past both of them. So currently it's a Williams 1-2. As I said, the Constructors' Championship is a foregone conclusion, but we could still mathematically win it. And at the moment, a 1-2 position. We're doing the best we can for Williams, really. Meanwhile, Max Verstappen, a brilliant first couple of corners, and that was it, because he's been passed by Bottas, myself, and Kimi Raikkonen. Of course, Bottas much quicker in a straight line, but Raikkonen, you know, the difference between the Ferrari and the Red Bull in a straight line isn't massive, but yet Verstappen's still done in a straight line. And also, one thing to note is how Raikkonen passed Rosberg to be able to get past Verstappen in the first place, although actually Nico Rosberg, bit of kerfuffling there with Verstappen getting involved once again. It looks like Rosberg could retake 3rd place from Kimi Raikkonen, but no, actually that isn't going to happen. Kimi Raikkonen is in 3rd place. So right now, Raikkonen, if he stays in 3rd, I can't lose a championship unless I retire or something dramatic happens. Meanwhile, Valtteri Bottas, both Williams, we were pulling away actually, because there was, as we saw, a massive scramble for 3rd place. And yep, I just gave Bottas a taste of his own medicine there, setting the fastest lap. But of course, fastest lap is going to keep on going down and down throughout the Grand Prix as the track conditions ever change. So at the moment, I'm leading the Grand Prix, Bottas is in 2nd, and then the other Finnish driver of Kimi Raikkonen is in 3rd. And it's still only lap 4. We've done, well actually, hang on, Valtteri Bottas might well re-overtake us actually. Do give him the squeeze though down the exit of what would be the 2nd DRS straight, but I passed Bottas, but you know, so nearly re-passed me. And then Max Verstappen still behind Kimi Raikkonen. I mean, Max Verstappen, as I said, brilliant first couple of corners. he's now actually holding up his teammate as Max Verstappen, and he's going really slowly there actually. Ricciardo passes him and takes out his teammate in the process. Max Verstappen is out of the Grand Prix, taken out actually by his teammate. So let's have a look what happened here. So Verstappen was behind Raikkonen. I know he wasn't going that quickly, but then he really did slow down. A rear right puncture is what Verstappen had. And Ricciardo, I mean, to be fair, Verstappen was still trying to take the racing line, but that is, yeah. I mean, as I said, Verstappen did not leave Ricciardo much room, but either way, what can you do? It's just unlucky for Max Verstappen, if anything. And then Sergio Perez got a brilliant view of that. I think, concurs exactly what I said. Ricciardo, there wasn't much room left for him to be able to get past cleanly anyway. So anyway, Perez has benefited nicely out of that. And lap 6, still leading the Grand Prix. So we've done a 6th for the Grand Prix. I'm 4 seconds ahead of Bottas, but a 6th for the Grand Prix. This should be roughly when the rain stops falling. I think it is still falling for the time being, but this should be, according to the race strategy screen, according to all the forecasts, around the time where the rain stops. And anyway, the battle for 3rd place keeps on. It just keeps on, really. And Nico Rosberg, he's back into a podium place, I think, potentially, going down the center S's. And yeah, I think he's just got the slightly drier line there, the slightly more grippier line. And there you go. Nico Rosberg up into 3rd place. Kimi Raikkonen in 4th. Lewis Hamilton isn't actually too far behind. He's, in fact, actually he really isn't too far behind, because he passed Kimi Raikkonen and then got up to the back of his teammate and also passed him. So it's now actually Lewis Hamilton in 3rd place. So, ever changing in 3rd place, and Lewis Hamilton is pitting, because, well, I think as we can see, the rain should have stopped. Well, yeah, it has stopped. I think we could see the rain stopped, but there's no way. Yeah, he is fitting on intermediate tyres. I was about to say, there's no way it's dry enough for dry tyres. I mean, the rain should have stopped a while ago. I think it has stopped for quite a few laps. This is lap 13, I believe, that Hamilton's coming in. And then a lap or 2 later, Bottas decides to come in. Now, what I'm doing at this point is I'm thinking the rain stopped. It stopped ages ago. I'm thinking if I can stretch these intermediate tyres out and then just avoid having to fit on a second set of inters, I'll be a pit stop ahead of everyone. But as you can see, look, there's no rain falling, but it's not really drying. I mean, we're on lap 16. It's still wet, and it stopped raining a long time ago, so I thought I couldn't take the intermediate tyres much further, and the longer I leave it, the more and more time I'm losing compared to Bottas. Sure, I was about 4 seconds ahead of Bottas before he came into the pits, but with him still being in 2nd place, so he had clean air, and being on much grippier, much intermediate tyres with much more water clearing ability in them, he was going to catch up rapidly, despite the fact that the track is, I would say, drying, but drying very slowly. And in fact, as we can see off in the distance there, Valtteri Bottas, he's still there actually. He has closed up. He's certainly closer than 4 seconds. And there, in fact, are both Mercedes not too far behind as well. Lewis Hamilton also, let's not forget, Lewis Hamilton came in before Bottas. So Bottas has closed up to me. Hamilton has closed up to Bottas. So in fact, the top 3 have all closed up. Essentially, yeah, the top 3. And in fact, Rosberg isn't actually too far behind himself. And the brilliant thing is without DRS and these wet conditions, this is how quick the Williams is in a straight line. Hamilton, with slipstream, with everything, he was losing ground to Bottas. So we saw Hamilton, he got past Raikkonen and Rosberg relatively easy, but he can't even really get close enough to even consider passing Bottas. Lap 24. I'll tell you what, it's amazing how little action there is when you take out DRS. Hardly surprising really, but lap 24, it's still wet. Hamilton's fitting on another set of intermediate tyres, and I don't blame him. Lap 24, it's still wet. The rain should have stopped at lap 6. It pretty much did stop at lap 6. And let's not forget, I came into the pits on lap 16. I came into the pits on lap 16, 10 laps later, it's still not dry tyre conditions. And we've got 21 cars running around on intermediate tyres, which are displacing the water from the racing line. Yet, that is not enough. So Rosberg, he's coming later than Bottas. And in fact, I think that means he has actually lost position to Valtteri Bottas, as we can see. Rosberg coming out to the pits right now, and we should just about be able to see in the distance Rosberg coming out of the pits behind both Bottas and Lewis Hamilton. And in fact, Jenson Button, he's in there in second for the time being, but I mean, unless he's going to fit on the dry tyres now, he isn't going to stay in second, that's my point. But I mean, I wanted to fit on the dry tyres, but look, we've still got a lot of rain coming up, there's still water on the track. It's lap 27. It stopped raining on roughly lap 6. And I'm pretty certain Brazil has quite good drainage systems just because of historically the amount of wet Grand Prix there have been. I'm pretty certain the drainage systems around this track are very good, but the track's still wet. I mean, admittedly it's still overcast, but there's been no track drying whatsoever. I mean, lap 28. 28, I should have been on my second set of dry tyres by now. I'm in fact still on intermediate tyres, and not only that, I've actually lost a position to Valtteri Bottas and Lewis Hamilton. Sebastian Vettel was in 4th, so Rosberg really did lose out by coming in a lot later than everyone else. But this isn't good. If Hamilton passes Bottas, that's it, the championship carries on into Abu Dhabi. Luckily though, luckily I was catching up to those guys. Unluckily, DRS has been re-enabled. We saw Hamilton, there's no way Hamilton was going to overtake Bottas without DRS. DRS has been enabled. What that also means is that Charlie Whiting considers it dry enough for dry tyres. So I think about coming in, I actually changed my mind. So I'm thinking, right, Charlie Whiting reckons it's dry enough, but Hamilton doesn't, Bottas doesn't, Vettel, pretty much everyone else. No one reckons it's dry enough for dry tyres. And this is remarkable. I mean, it's 20 laps. 20 laps it's taken. 20 laps longer than we all expected for DRS to be enabled. Meanwhile, Sebastian Vettel, he has been punted off by Nico Rosberg there. So, I think what happened, Sebastian Vettel actually locked up. Let's have a look at his front left wheel. Yep, Vettel, he locked up under braking while trying to keep up to myself, and yep, that's exactly what happened. Actually, quite similar to what happened at the Canadian Grand Prix. I distinctly remember Vettel locking up whilst behind me. I'm pretty certain that's what happened, but either way, lap 30, I'm thinking, screw it. I've got to come in for dry tyres, because we saw how effective the undercut has been on Hamilton and Bottas. That's the only reason they're ahead of me, and I can't sit there behind Hamilton because it's inevitable Hamilton's going to pass Bottas. So I thought, I've just got to do something. Who cares if the championship carries on over into Abu Dhabi? Going to come out of the pits in 6th place. Charlie Whiting reckons it's dry enough. I'm not sure. Sebastian Vettel though concurs with me. He's fitted on the medium tyres, and coming out to the pits, I'm not sure. In the exit of the pit lane, there wasn't really much grip there. I'm not convinced, although it looks quite dry to me at the moment. It's still definitely on the crossover point, although lots of people still reckon, intermediate tyres are the way to go. I mean, lap times haven't been brilliant, or that lap time wasn't brilliant. I mean, we've got Fernando Alonso up ahead. I've caught up to him quite massively, although he was fighting out with that car ahead there, but Kimi Räikkönen, he's fit on the soft tyres. But all of these guys I don't really care about. I mean, I'm quicker than Alonso, but that isn't really conclusive. That doesn't necessarily mean the dry tyres are quicker, that just means that I'm quicker than Alonso, which we already knew. But what I'm worried about right now is Bottas and the Mercedes drivers. Vettel set the fastest lap, so clearly it is dry tyre conditions. And there is Valtteri Bottas actually coming out of the pits right now. He's fit on the soft tyres, and thankfully I've got ahead of Bottas. I would like to assume that team orders would come into play, although actually, nope, because clearly the track still isn't quite that dry. I haven't got the tyres quite up to temperature, and Bottas has got by. Both Mercedes are still out there on intermediate tyres. As we saw, it's dry tyre conditions. So what are Mercedes going to do? Are they going to pit in and lose out, or stay out and stay in with a shot of winning the Drivers' Championship? Getting DRS on Bottas, so I've been able to pass Valtteri Bottas, something which not many drivers have been able to say this Grand Prix. In fact, anyone else, I don't think, apart from myself. But anyway, Nico Rosberg's in the pits, and as we know, he came into the pits several laps later than me, so no surprise, both me and Bottas were well ahead of Nico Rosberg. So Rosberg's out of the championship, essentially. There's no way he's going to win. But Bottas, Williams are clearly more concerned with the spectacle than they are with my Drivers' Championship, because they're not telling Bottas to hold off. God no, Bottas wants this second place, and in fact, depending on where Hamilton is, Bottas is at the fastest lap. He's going quickly, heading down towards the first corner to start the final lap. Rosberg is also going quickly behind, so is also that Ferrari behind. But Lewis Hamilton, with 1 lap left to go, I mean, this is the final lap. Hamilton's still on intermediate tyres. So, I mean, I'm only, 7 seconds behind Hamilton. I've caught up a lot, but it's dry tyre conditions. Bottas has passed me. There is a lot going on right now. I'm only a few seconds behind Hamilton, and it's dry tyre conditions, but can I catch up? Will it be a last lap overtake or a last corner overtake, almost like 2008? Hamilton's on inters. No one else is. No one else. Hamilton could have pulled off a brilliant strategical move. He basically needed to win the Grand Prix to stay within a shot of winning the Drivers' Championship, and I think he's going to do it, unless we just see Hamilton going slowly round the last corner, 2008 Brazil style. He's not there. Lewis Hamilton's now going to try and pass Bottas. In fact, I went out onto the white line, got some water on the tyres, locked up, off the track, and brilliant stuff. I'm down into 5th place. Rosberg's passed me. It doesn't matter. Rosberg's out of the championship. Please tell me Bottas is going to beat Hamilton. No! Hamilton has just about been able to win the Brazilian Grand Prix on intermediate tyres, and I'm going to take 5th.
Thank you for all your hard work out there. That was a strong drive and a good finish. Well done.
Well, there you go. The engineer is happy. Let's take a look at this. So, as you saw, I was right behind Bottas. Desperation started to creep in, as James Allen once said. Got out onto the white line, locked up. It was a case of getting the tyres wet, recklessness and stupidity. And just, you know, either way, here is the moment, because I hardly believe it myself. Here is where Lewis Hamilton, on pretty much a bone-dry track, won the Grand Prix. I mean, he wasn't going quickly, as we can tell by the fact that Haryanto's passed him. So, remarkable. I mean, Bottas only, 2.5 seconds behind Hamilton in the end. Fair play to Hamilton and Mercedes. They did, strategically, that was fantastic on their part. No one else saw that. No one else. But, there you go. So the championship between me and Hamilton is carrying on into Abu Dhabi. There you go. 15 points ahead of Hamilton. That's substantial, but 15 points, if he wins, I don't have to be too far down the order, and I'm out of it. I mean, if the race results that we saw this Grand Prix happen there, it would be dangerously close. I'm not expecting there to be any mixed conditions in Abu Dhabi like at this Grand Prix, but, I mean, who knows, really? It's the final Grand Prix of the season, anything can happen. Mercedes have won the Constructors' Championship officially this Grand Prix, so well done to Mercedes, 2016 Constructors' Champions. Ferrari have passed Red Bull, and that's pretty much it. So anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, be sure to leave a like, comment down below, and I'll see you guys next time for the final Grand Prix in this F1 2016 Williams Career Mode, the 2016 Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. So I'll see you then.